Hey guys, hi. Is my voice audible? Hey guys, how are you guys? Hello? Hey guys, what's up? Hey, what's up, Sahil? क्या चल रहा है क्या चल रहा है Oh, awesome. I am nice. बहुत सही. How are you guys? How are you on this Sunday evening? Rahul is hello, Rishabh hello, Sahil hello. Awesome guys. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. सब सही चल रहा है. Hey Lavender. Hey Abhijit. Awesome. Hey Prajwal. Amazing. People are joining in. Let's wait for 2-3 minutes. Kafi time. Oh, Dhaval is here. Awesome. Mr. Dhaval Trivedi is here. Awesome. आज का लाइव तो स्पेशल है. I am doing fine, guys. I am absolutely doing fine. क्या चल रहा है और तब तक एक काम करो सारे at least like the video so that you like the video and more people can join in. I think that would be an amazing thing to do before we start. Everybody, please like the video. और बताओ यार संडे को क्या चल रहा है संडे रात को ठंड लग रही कौन है नॉर्थ इंडिया से कहां पे हु इज गेटिंग द फीवर्स ऑफ विंटर एंड देन हु इज एंजॉयिंग इन बैंगलोर एंड अदर प्लेसेस अभिजीत एक बार ना चैनल पे भी डाल दे मतलब लाइक पुट इट अक्रॉस इन द डिस्कॉर्ड चैनल सॉरी द टेलीग्राम चैनल दैट वी आर लाइव या awesome another 2-3 minutes and then we will start guys please keep your questions prepared I will take one question from each guy and if there is a question that I've already answered in my previous videos I'll not cover that we'll try to pick across as diverse questions as possible so that there is more coverage right you can start asking question guys let's just wait for 2 minutes and then we will start but what I'm trying to put across is if there is a question that I've already answered I will just say that it's in another video check it out on the channel I will not repeat it across I will try to pick across questions which are primarily new and are more fundamental to the job of a product manager or getting into product management or improving as a PM whatever those things are you can effectively start doing that yeah awesome मिड इंडिया में भी ठंड है ओ ऐसा awesome okay guys so what we will do is in the next 1 minute guys please start off with asking questions as many questions as you have any questions related to from product before product getting into product whatever you think of just shoot yeah Ayushi is there very nice hey Ayushi awesome Okay. So I see the first question. Rahul is saying I'm a software engineer now and really like the field of PM, but I want to know whether PM is for me or not. I have given time to understand more about PM and given interviews as well, but I was told that I am as better as SE. See, in general, I don't have an opinion about whether software engineering is better than product management or product management is better than software engineering. It depends a lot of on what is your passion. Like what do you like more, right? Software engineering is primarily where you see the why how of the problem, like where you try to understand how do you build a scalable solution, how do you build an engineering structure, and it is more structured, more thought driven, right? More technically scalable in that sense, and then it has very limited ambiguity, right? So it is more of a field where you like building more, right? But in product management the skills are functionally more on the why side, where we develop a lot more on the hypothesis that whether we are solving the right problem, whether we and in because we want to identify that whether it's the right problem or not, we have to collaborate with a lot of people, right? And that is where it becomes a multi-dimensional field with design, engineering, sales, marketing, everybody kind of coming in. So yeah, It really depends on what you like, right? And even if you have given interviews, I just want to understand, what do you mean by better as SE? If you're there can be two possibilities. One, they're saying that you don't have a product mindset. What I mean by a product mindset is primarily asking the questions for why we need to solve things. A lot of times when I go to engineers, they just understand the requirement and they don't even ask me questions, right? That what is the right thing, why should I do it, why should I not do it, right? A lot of times it is more on the lines of what to build, how to build, right? And but on the side of a product manager, we ask a lot of questions on why we are building this, what will it improve, is it right, is it not right, right? So the feedback that specifically is given to you is primarily on the lines that maybe your product thinking is not developed. So what you should functionally do is go to a product thinking kind of a book like the Lean Product Playbook or Decode and Conquer, and try to solve product thinking problems, ambiguous problems like build an ATM for the blind, build a feature for Google Pay, and try to understand why you should solve that problem and build a hypothesis. And hypothesis building is the biggest thing in product management. If you're a very good hypothesis builder, using data, using feedback, using multiple things, you are generally poised to be a good PM. And simultaneously, communication skills are something also that are very important to a PM. If you're not a very good communicator, you generally are not a very good storyteller, right? So these two skills, if you improve, right, if you truly like it, right, then it's going to be something that's going to be very valuable to you. Like better as SE can be compensation, etc., but I am taking it specifically from a thinking standpoint. So my feedback to you is that if you truly like product management, go and try to improve your product thinking, understand what is first principle thinking, what is product led growth, check out multiple sessions on the Swagwala PM, and you will have a better understanding of things. Awesome. Okay, so that is, I hope I answered the question, Rahul. Yeah. Roadmap for a QA working in product companies to transit into product. Okay, fair enough. So the next thing that Sahil has asked is that he's currently a QA, quality analyst, and he wants to understand what's the roadmap for a QA working in product companies to transit into product. See, for QA, it is very, very easy, right? Because most of the times you're already aware of the product process, that what's a sprint, right? What happens, what is a build, right? When do you effectively hand over to QA? What is regression testing? So you have a lot of understanding of product building in general, right? What you can functionally do is, and this is something that I tell everyone, right? Try to, if you are a QA, try to spend as much time as with PMs to try to understand that what they are doing, right? Ask them questions, try to shadow a PM, right? And while you're shadowing a PM, you can also, it is for internal transfer, right? If you're shadowing a PM, try to tell them that I want to contribute somewhere, right? In their ideas, come up with ideas, try to even small features, right? Maybe in 3 months, what you can do is you can assist the PM, right, in 2, 3, 4 features, right, and help them understand that you have the product thinking acumen, right? Maybe build a feature, recommend it to the product team that this is something that we should need, this is something that has come from QA feedback, right? And try to build across some sort of a product acumen structure in which either you work with the product team very closely, just go to the PM, just walk in and tell him that I want to assist you, and I feel that I can add value and I'm really interested in this. One of the bigger problems in life is a lot of people don't get what they want just because they don't ask. Just ask. Go and just talk to your PM saying that in the next 3 months I want to shadow you, I want to be a part of your product development process, and probably assist him in small features, helping, taking some bandwidth of him, writing a document for him, or probably coming up with a document, right? And then suggesting it across and doing it consistently, right? That is something that you can essentially do. Other things that you simultaneously can do is externally build a portfolio, solve some problems, and just take it to the team that I solved this problem in this particular way. I wrote a PRD for this. Why don't you check it out? Right? So that if you have a product portfolio, they have a functional understanding that this person also thinks like a product manager, right? And simultaneously, what you should essentially do is, I always tell people, shadow a PM. Just shadow him and ask him why does he think what he does, and probably after 3-4 months, just put this request across to the VP product or the head of product to say that I want to move into product, right? It is just that you just have to go and assist them and show them your product thinking, right? Other than that, you can also consistently do courses, right? Probably I generally recommend a lot of book reading. So there are books like creativity.inc, there are books like Inspired, there are books like Lean Product Playbook, there are books like Jobs to be Done, right? Which you can start reading and put across in your thinking, right? Also, you can also talk a little bit about, because if you are a QA or if you're a lead QA, if you've managed a team, right? That also comes across as a very strong experience, that you're a good product manager, you can manage a team, right? You can motivate people. So that is something that comes off a very strong feedback. But functionally, if you assist 3 steps, Shadow a PM, assist him in 2 3 features in 3 months, probably build a hypothesis and build an example of a feature that you want to develop, and also build a product portfolio, and probably keep reading about product management in general. Do case studies in UI UX and multiple other things, and just put it across to your head of product. And that is something that you can do. So in 3 to 6 months, you will either get an opportunity or at least get a feedback that this is where you want to improve. So I think that is a typical transition, and this I tell to everyone, like from marketing, from QA, from sales. This is the best way to do it. Awesome. Awesome. Sahil, I hope I answered your question. Awesome. Okay. The next is Rohit. Okay. Rohit, I've already answered this. I'm just repeating this. Rohit has asked, Shravan, how many hours of coding do you need in your daily job? None whatsoever. I'm a consumer PM. Consumer PMs don't know how to, they should, it is not a mandatory thing for them to code, right? They can essentially think that they can choose not to code. Getting to know technology is a good thing for a PM. It supports, but it's not a mandatory thing. I don't code. That's it. Awesome. Okay, Tanishk. Hey Tanishk, hi. Hey Shravan, hope you're doing well. What are the some of the questions asked in the final round of a product management interview question? I have one pretty soon. See, generally, if your product Tanishk, so Tanish has asked this question ki in the final round of a product internship, what are the typical questions that I should expect? See, I am assuming that your product thinking rounds have already done. So in the final round, a lot of people try to understand whether you're culturally fit to the organization, right? So what kind of expectations do you have, right? Or probably it can be more about in general about how do you think about the business? What's the vision of the business, right? What's the vision of the product? All of those things they can functionally ask. If the question is, if you are talking about the first round in general, it's generally a product science question, that how do you build a certain thing, how do you build a bathroom for the blind. But in the last round, it will be majorly culture checks, right? Whether you're culturally fit, what kind of mindset do you have, what kind of things. Maybe the interviewer might ask you, what do you think of your career as a PM in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, right? And also what I would also recommend in general is that in the final round you should also ask questions, because that creates a lasting impact on the head of the interviewer. Like, ask questions that what is the vision of the company, right? Why do you want to hire PMs, right? What's your culture like, right? How do you foster creativity? If you ask hard questions in the final round of an interview, there's a very good chance people will respect you and will try to understand that this person is so deep, he's so meticulous, that he's asking very fundamental questions instead of asking questions like आपकी product team कैसी है, आपकी तो बहुत ऐसी है, टेढ़ी है, विड़ी है, यार कि आपका स्ट्रक्चर क्या है, ये सब बेकार होता है. Just ask deeper questions. How is your culture like? How do you hire people? What kind of qualities do you look in? And what is the vision of the product? Where does the product go while it's scaling, right? So all of these questions, it will be more on the culture check, vision check, and communication check. That's something that the final round will focus on, and probably compensation. Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. Gosh, awesome. Now the next that I see is, yeah, I am having an interview problem solving. Any idea how the interview is going to be like? Devateja, it's already covered in another video. I would not repeat this again, right? Without PM role in my resume, how do I get shortlisted? Naukri pe profile shortlist hi nahi hoga. Guys, again, next elephant. This is covered already in many of the videos. If you're new to the channel, I'm not going to repeat this, but simple funda, I will say, create a product portfolio. It's the best way to get into PM roles without having a prior experience. Awesome. Interviews told me that you did good in interviews, but you should stay in SE as you will do better in that. I tried to convince them, but they offered me an interview for the SE role. Again, this is completely biased. If you truly like it, apply elsewhere. That's okay. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Bhaiya, what is roadmap for final years for product management? Again, I am just repeating this once, right? See, from a roadmap perspective, in final year, creating a product portfolio is the best way to get into a PM role. And the second thing that you should, typically recommend all of you guys is to start writing on LinkedIn. Start writing about improving your profile. So the first thing that you should functionally start doing is start creating a portfolio. I have given my portfolio across in multiple videos. Creating a portfolio means picking up a problem, trying to solve that problem, right, and putting it across in a structure and sending it across to the interviewer, so that the interviewer understands that how you think, and primarily then getting feedback on top of it and doing multiple problems in 9-10 months. A problem can be like, probably build a single order multi-ticket restaurant for Swiggy, or build a loan giving feature for UPI, right? It can be any number, any industry, anything that you want to put across. Build a live class model for Byju's, anything. It can be n number of things that you want to do across, and do multiple assignments, create a portfolio. Yeah, I have repeated this in numerous number of times. If devs have a portfolio, if designers have a portfolio, PM के भी portfolio होने चाहिए भाई, उसी से सीखोगे तुम. That's the only way you will learn. So please check out the other videos. जिन्होंने नहीं देखा है, please go to the stream and try to understand. It is given there more than enough in more than enough videos. Awesome. How can one choose what solution approach to move forward with an answer? Okay, Utkarsh has asked this question. I'm just looking at what should be the ideal time for converting a PM role. कि अब नहीं हो रहा तो गलत है. How do, again, Sagar, there is no ideal time, man. Like, I'll be very honest with you. See, for any decision in life, I typically tell give yourself like 5 to 6 months at least for a career transition. But कोई ideal time नहीं होता. People are there who have been practicing for PM roles in 2 years, 3 years and converted. People are there who have converted it into 2 months. It really depends on how good your product thinking is, right? How good you are a problem solver, right? And you should check out majority of the interviews on the internet and try to understand that what is happening, how product interviews happen. But 6 महीने तो अपने आप को दो यार, लेकिन 6 महीने में शिद्दत से मेहनत करनी है भाई. मतलब ये ज्ञान नहीं, देखो, no course is going to help unless you put effort, right? अगर तुम एफर्ट नहीं डालोगे, कोई कोर्स कुछ हेल्प नहीं करने वाला. जब तक खुद प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं करोगे, जब तक खुद मेहनत नहीं करोगे, nothing is going to work. So that's why if you follow my videos, there are assignments that you can do. There, diligently follow करो, consistently interviews दो. और यार इंटरव्यू से डरना नहीं होता यार. मतलब एक बड़ी सिंपल सी चीज है. So what you failed? I have failed in numerous interviews in my life. कुछ फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता यार, सीखते जाओ यार. मतलब it's just a learning outcome. If you truly are a PM, you will be passionate about problem solving. You'll be passionate about doing things in life. राइट अगर तुम एक अच्छे प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर हो तो तुम ऑटोमेटिकली हर चीज में अच्छा होना शुरू हो जाओगे. तो 6 महीने दे दो, 6 महीने से ज्यादा की जरूरत नहीं. I think 6 months is enough time for anyone from any background to come to product management. Yeah. Okay. ठीक है. For a new feature to be added, okay, Tuhant has asked this question. For a new feature to be added, if some interview is planned with existing users, what type of questions to be added to get desired results? Which steps to be taken for the complete process? See, so Tuhant has asked a question which is not related to interviews. He's typically asking, when you do user interviews, if you how do you conduct user interviews? So I have always believed that user interviews should be very open-ended. User interviews are converted in such a way, are done in such a way so that you should make your user comfortable. The best, sometimes I keep speaking this line, that sometimes the best way to gain control is to give control, right? And this is a very important line to me, because if you make your user very comfortable, he will be able to tell his heart, right? All of you people, you interact with my posts on LinkedIn because तुम्हें ये लगता है कि नहीं यार ये बंदा relatable है, इससे बात की जा सकती है, right? Same thing. So अगर तुम्हें user interviews करने हैं, पहले तो अपने user को comfortable करो, उसको बिल्कुल ना पुश करो किसी चीज के लिए. Ask open-ended questions. Don't ask questions like this, like you show a prototype and say, oh, you clicked on the buy button, so you wanted to buy something. That is biased behavior. Instead, ask questions like, okay, I see you clicked on this button. What did you want to do? So ask open-ended questions. Ask open questions, not closed questions. So always try to let him take decisions. And if he doesn't understand your product or doesn't follow the method or the approach that you wanted him to follow, that means there is something wrong with your product. So in a user interview, try to get people from your target set outside your circle of influence. Circle of influence basically होता है जिन लोगों को ये पता है कि तुम क्या बना रहे हो, राइट? तो टारगेट सेट का मतलब क्या होता है? टारगेट सेट होता है कि द काइंड ऑफ पीपल हु यू वांट टू टारगेट, बट द पीपल इन योर सर्कल ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंस माइट आल्सो बी इन योर टारगेट सेट, लेकिन तुम उनसे बात नहीं करते हो. तो टॉक टू समवन हु यू आर बिल्डिंग इट अक्रॉस फॉर, एंड देन मेक हिम कंफर्टेबल, मेक द पर्सन आस्क क्वेश्चंस एंड व्हाटएवर ही वांट्स टू डू इट, एंड जस्ट नोट इट अक्रॉस एंड आस्क वेरी ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चंस कि यार तुम ये कर रहे हो, क्यों कर रहे थे, बस इतना बता दो, और कुछ जरूरत नहीं है. ये नहीं बोलना कि तुम ये कर रहे थे इसका मतलब तुम्हें ये करना है. मतलब तुम बाय नाउ पे क्लिक कर रहे हो यानी कि तुम्हें कोर्स खरीदना है, जरूरी नहीं होता उसको ऐसा मतलब, राइट? ऑसम. ठीक है. Any tips you would give to devs better product sense and have better empathy for design, marketing, and is holistically created and not be burnt out by change requests? Awesome. So I think it's a very interesting question that PS1234 has asked, that any tips would you give to devs better product sense and have better empathy for design, marketing, right? See, I think one of the things that you should as devs learn is that product managers are working in a lot of problem space, right? So there is a lot of ambiguity there. There will be changes, right? That is okay. So if you want to start across and understand that why a PM is doing a certain thing, try to understand the business context, right? And ask questions on that instead of fighting. See, devs have a very structured mindset कि अरे यार एक बार जो requirement आई हमें यही बनाना है. ऐसा नहीं होता, right? Because requirements change, because markets change. It's so volatile. It's not like building brick by brick, right? It's a very ambiguous situation. So what you should do is sit with your PM, try to understand where he's coming from, and if he's coming from it by a change request, ask the context. If the PM is not giving a context, then he's not doing a good job, right? But try to understand and empathize that a business lot of times also builds features to do experiments, and out of 10 experiments 8 might fail. That is how the truth is. That is how life is, right? So you have to empathize that these change requests are also coming because we are doing experiments for running the business. See, in large structured organizations there is already product market fit, तो वहां change requests थोड़ी कम होती हैं relatively. But in startups they are going to be more because they are figuring out what works for the market, what doesn't work for the market. So you should spend a lot of time with your PM, help him give context that why building and change, how can they avoid change requests, and the PM can also give you business context, and spend and think of a PM as your friend, right? Then only, so once you have empathy for the PM, right, you will automatically have empathy for the users, because the PM is the voice of the user, and if he's doing a good job he will help you understand that why we are building a certain thing. So you will have a lot of context on whatever you are building, what's its value to the end user, right? So just spend a lot of time with your PM, try to ask more questions, more fundamental questions, what works, what doesn't work, right? Why he's making a change request, why he's doing a certain thing, right? So ये चीजें करने के बाद ना तुम्हें automatically empathy आने लग जाएगी PM के लिए, right? And you will also understand where are gaps. You can suggest good processes कि आप ये कर सकते हो, ऐसा कर सकते हो, वैसा कर सकते हो. तो यार you can do multiple, like you can suggest कि okay, while you are writing a PRD, can we have a pre-handshake meeting in which I can talk about things, right? कि basically कहाँ पे edge cases है, कहाँ पे क्या चीजें हैं, right? So you can do all of those things and effectively build empathy for the PM as well as the end users, and you will have a general sense of what is good design, what is bad design, and all of those things together. Awesome. Got it. Okay. Then I see Rajat has asked a question. I am a product intern. For me, converting to junior PM, my boss is asking me to do stuff like product discovery and duties, what a product manager is doing. How do you start with product discovery as starter? See, the best way to do product discovery is ask your user. There is no better way, right? So if you want to understand what is product discovery basically means identifying discovery avenues or such value propositions which are very valuable to the end user. I have always spoken that if you truly want to understand how good your product is, stay close to the end user, talk to the end user, and always try to understand their needs, not wants. What is that? So there is this interesting framework that Dan also talks about, which is importance versus satisfaction, right? And you have to understand the important needs of the user and then try to understand that, okay, are these important needs getting met by the current solutions? If they are not, right, then it creates a gap. It is highly important, but it's not currently solving it. Like, I'll give you a very simple example. Think of Jira as a tool, right? Jira is very important to a product manager or even a project manager, but is it doing a good job? Not really, because I want to task manage, but I don't want to do it ticket by ticket. And then you realize that's why the task was very important, the solution was not good. That's why people started moving to multiple other solutions like Metabase. Like there are multiple other solutions, that Metaspark is there, then Slab is there. There are so many solutions which are coming into the product ops space because the problem was there and the solution was not good enough. So if you want to do product discovery, start by talking to your end users, consistently do interviews with them and try to understand what are their unmet needs. And if you get those unmet needs, then you can start looking at solutions. So first time, spend a lot of time in the problem space. Identify which are the core areas which we have not solved for, which are important to the user, and then come up with solutions which can be effectively solve those edge cases or those unmet needs by data, by research, whatever, and come up with that and then propose it as a feature. Right? Once you do that, your discovery has improved, your features have improved, and there's a very good chance that you would be effectively be able to move into a PM role, right? And you will develop product sense. Yeah. Awesome. Now the next thing that I would ask is, okay, Then I see another question. Hey Samarth, yeah. Hey Shravan, what do you suggest starting a product guys to get into tech PM or more towards business and strategy PM? See, it really depends on you, man. Like, see, I would say that product management, being a tech PM or a growth PM or a data PM or whatever you want to be, right? It is really not important, right? Every PM has to be user centric. It is just his domain expertise which is there. But every PM has to be user centric. Even a tech PM in Netflix would be user centric and try to understand that this is for the end user, right? So I would suggest that do what you like. If you are an SDE, you like writing code, you like building systems better, be a tech PM. But eventually the core roles of a PM, becoming somebody who's user centric, always understanding the needs of the users, always keeping the user at the center of it, trying to empathizing with the solution, that has to be the same. That will be the same, right? So it is just completely based on what you like. If you like धंधा अच्छा लगता है ज्यादा तो धंधा समझो, टेक अच्छा लगता है, लेकिन at the core of it you're loyal to the user. अगर तुम वो नहीं कर रहे हो तो तुम किसी भी रोल में अच्छा नहीं करोगे. As simple as that. Awesome. Okay, awesome. So Devasmita is asking this question. I think my question got missed out. How exactly does a product manager and a product marketing manager work together? See, it's a very interestingly, these two roles are not very different and yet very different, right? So a product marketing manager is focused a lot more on communicating to the users that what the product has been built or what the feature has been built. So I think a product marketing manager works closely with marketing and also on product uh, developing structures for product discovery in general in the process or the funnels, right? That basically if somebody comes to your website, how does he understand what you have built? So I think a PM and a PM really works a lot more on why should we build this and what we should build. And a PMM focuses a lot more on if you have built something, how do we convey it to the end user? So I think the best way for them is that when there is a sprint going on, a PMM and a PM should spend time together, that what are the next features that are coming out, right? Because GTM is equal. So I typically speak like this, is that product building and go to market are like two legs, right? If you screw one leg, the other is going to get affected, right? So at any point of time when a feature is coming out, the PM and the PMM should spend time on how to develop the GTM. They should spend, like, I typically spend like 1 or 2 hours every week with the PMM that we have, the group PMM that we have in Baiju, trying to understand how will they be communicated to the users. Will it be operational? Will it not be operational? Will it be product led? What are the things that we should do? And consistently build a plan that if we are launching 2-3 features or 4 features or some major feature, how does the GTM look like, right? So a lot of times while the product is getting built, a lot of context should be there to the PMM also, so that the PMM understands that simultaneously while the feature is getting built, he's also building a GTM strategy, that if I have to communicate that this feature is coming, like a booking feature is coming, how should I communicate it to the end user? So there should be like at least 8 to 10 hours of interaction between the PM and the PMM every month, trying to understand the roadmap of the next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and trying to understand that how do we communicate to the end user. Awesome. Okay. Fire games. Okay. Dude, nothing like worthless or something like that. I'm just trying to understand which makes sense. There are certain questions which are already there. Yeah. In companies like MI, Realme, the APMs, PMs are mostly focused on physical product launches. Is there a different strategy to be followed to crack such roles? They also seem to be a more marketing role. Awesome. See, a very simple thing यार. I think कोई strategy different नहीं होती. Physical product के लिए भी वही फंडा होता है. You have to be very functional, very focused on the fact that do you understand the problem well, right? So because these companies are building smartphones, they might need domain expertise, which is clear, which can actually be the case. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to think of some other lines and trying to understand that there is something entirely different. No. There is no other strategy. The roles will be very simple, but they might ask you more questions on understanding the needs of a physical, like how do you do user interviews to figure out the needs while somebody uses a product, not a digital product or a physical product. But the core value prop will be the same. A question on the product sense, the business thinking, and all of those questions will stay the same in the interview. There is no other strategy that you need. See, fundamentally, you have to be close to the user and try to understand what the value of the product is. It's as simple as that, right? And why you are building it. Be it a physical product, be it a B2C product, be it a B2B product, be it a B2B2C product, नहीं फर्क पड़ता यार. As long as you're loyal to the user's unmet need. I'm repeating this, UNMET, unmet need. If you have correctly identified that, built a hypothesis, it doesn't matter which industry, which type of product, because in the end, your first principle क्या है? किसी को कोई नीड है, मान लो तुम्हें लाइफ में अगर पानी की नीड है, तुम्हें वो पानी टैप से मिले या फिर एक ग्लास से मिले, उससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है? नीड तो ये है कि तुम्हें प्यास है, right? So it's as simple as that. So you don't have to prepare any differently, but there can be different types of domain questions. Like, okay, if MI wants to release a feature or MI wants to build a hardware feature, how will it go about it, right? How should it validate it through consumer interviews? How will it identify the, like, so that's why we typically in product interviews we also like ask questions like, build a camera for the blind. Now it's a hardware question, right? How will you define that hardware structure? So I think that is something that you should focus on, but overall the core needs stay the same. Awesome. Okay. So the next thing that I ask is, give me a second. Okay. I'm just looking into next question. Okay. Okay. Open-ended questions give more perspective. Just a second. Yeah. So Tanish has asked this question. Are there chances of questions based on root cause analysis to be asked in the final interview round, Shravan? Yeah, there can be, not really, but ऐसा कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि वही आएगा. Generally, last round is not on RCA based questions. Generally, last round is more on the lines of culture structures, and that is how it works, right? RCA का question यार ऐसे तो question कभी भी आ सकते हैं, right? But in general, last round will be primarily culture based. Yeah. Okay. I am okay. Ankur has asked, I am a fresher with software engineering with 4 months experience. Should I start preparing for PM? Should I gain at least 1 year? Yeah, there is no good time to become a PM. So Ankur has asked that I am a fresher with four months experience. Should I start preparing for product management now or at least after 1 year of experience? See, if you like software engineering, spend some time there. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, right? But if you truly like product management, it has nothing to do with your current experience. It is just based on your problem solving ability. So it doesn't matter whether you're a fresher, whether you are a 1 year software engineer, whether you're a 5 year software engineer. For becoming a product manager, all you need is a product thinking, is a product acumen, and a product portfolio. That is something that you can effectively start preparing right now also, and you can transition after 1 year if you choose to. So there is the only thing that you should understand is when you have a calling towards the role, that I really like building products, I really like looking at designs, I really like talking to users, I really like understanding, empathizing with them, then build it across, man. Then don't wait. Like, wait क्यों करना है? But अगर तुम्हें लगता है कि you're still confused, कि maybe I enjoy my coding job a little, I really like it, I still need to think about, maybe this is the field. If you're still confused, that your passion doesn't lie there, then at some point of time, just chill. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. फिर तुम थोड़ा time लो, take 6 months, 12 months, and then figure it out. But at any point of time when you think that you're loyal to the end user, you really like problem solving, you really like speaking to people, you really like understanding data, you really like interacting with design and doing stakeholder management, all of those things, and also understanding the core unmet needs of the user and all of those things, if that happens, and then you understand how do you build products, if you like that, then you start now. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. It's just clarity should be there in your mind when you want to. There is nothing like कि तुम्हें 1 साल वेट करना है और तभी तुम अच्छे बन पाओगे, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. ये सिर्फ फैंग में बना रखा है कि यार कि people first spend 3-4 years in engineering. उसका भी reason है यार, because FANG companies are primarily internet companies. Their products are primarily code driven. Right? They're not very strong consumer products. Google search में अगर PM बनना है, अगर तुम्हें basic machine learning नहीं आती तो कैसे बनोगे PM? Right? But in general consumer tech companies, it's not the need. Yeah. Okay. In which kind of cases PMs are fired? Is it risky job compared to developers? यार देखो, a very interesting question Ankur has asked. Question है कि in what cases PMs are fired? Is it a risky job as compared to job like developers, etc.? Lol man, lol. Very interesting question, but हाँ ठीक है. तो यार I think ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता यार, they're fired or something, it's not as risky, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं होता. But yes, you are far more central to the organization, so your responsibility quotient is high. it's definitely high. So logically you are the person who is driving vision for the company. So your decisions can make or break the strategy of the company. As a developer, if your code goes wrong, you can push the code back. But if the feature goes wrong and it goes to the market and gets communicated to the market, there is no coming back, right? It becomes very hard to come from failed feature requests. So you have a role of power as well as a role of responsibility. Rather, I would say far more responsibility than power, right? Far more responsibility. So as a PM, you get a lot of autonomy to do experiments. अनलाइक सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स, मतलब सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स को भी मिलता है, मैंने ऐसा नहीं कहा, लेकिन पीएम्स को डेफिनेटली ज्यादा मिलता है. दे आर मोर सेंट्रल टू द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ कोर स्ट्रेटेजिक विजन ऑफ द कंपनी, राइट? बट साइमल्टेनियसली उनकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कोफिशिएंट भी बहुत हाई होता है यार. एक पीएम को बहुत एम्पैथेटिक होना पड़ता है. जब मतलब अगर सच में कभी कुछ फट गया ना, तो पीएम हैज टू टेक प्रेसिडेंस, राइट? एंड बट साइमल्टेनियसली यू आर आल्सो द फेस ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट. सो यार इसके प्रोज भी हैं, इसके कॉन्स भी हैं. तो यार कोई गलती करेगा तो यार अगर बड़ी गलती होगी तो कोई भी फायर हो सकता है. तो इट्स नॉट रिस्की और समथिंग, इट इज जस्ट अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ जॉब, राइट? तो वैल्यू भी है, उतना ही रिस्क. जहां पे जब भी तुम लाइफ में ग्रो करोगे यार, यू बिकम ए सीनियर इंजीनियरिंग मैनेजर, वीपी इंजीनियरिंग, तुम कुछ गलती करोगे, तुम कुछ स्क्रू करोगे, तो ऑब्वियसली तुम फायर भी होगे यार. तो इट इज जस्ट लाइक द मोर अमाउंट ऑफ responsibility, the more amount of throughput that's given to you, the more amount of risk is also associated there, because they're valuing your judgment, right? You're not just writing individual code, you're deciding a value prop or the next steps for the company, right? That is extremely important. So it's not like it's bad or good, but obviously the responsibility coefficient is far higher, right? But that is the reason PMs are given so much importance in good startups, in at least good product led companies. Yeah. Okay, so the next question that I see is Abhijit, अबे यार, what are my life goals? फिर इसके बारे में फिर कभी बात करेंगे, but अभी let's ask other people's questions. Yeah, Prachi, my current role includes the responsibilities of SM, okay, BA. So getting opportunities for SM BA roles, is it because I lack marketing related experience? I didn't understand, Prachi. Are you saying so getting opportunities for BA roles? Acha, you are currently doing some parts of a BA, okay, and you want to get opportunities for SM or BA. What is SM? Scrum Master, basically. Okay, got it. Is it because? Not like that, Prachi. I think I would not be the best guy to tell you about BA or SM roles, but let me just put it across in a very structural way. I think the more part from a Scrum Master way is that if you have good management skills, I think marketing is just one part of it. Scrum Master is more like who is managing the project structures, that how does he manage the agile part of it, how are features getting developed, and it is very similar to PM but far more focused on execution side. So I think what you can effectively try to showcase in your resume is that you've done some roles of a Scrum Master, maybe like a BA, like writing BRDs, writing DRDs, writing FRDs. So BRDs, guys, are business requirement documents, DRDs are design requirement documents, FRDs are functional requirement documents. So these things that you have done, you have managed a team, that is also important. You've run agile sprints. Talk more about that, and probably talk a little bit about what kind of impact have you created as a Scrum Master or a BA. At least your resume should be reflective of that. Like a lot of times I tell like software engineers in their resume, right, I improved the latency of the system by 100%. But yeah, for a PM, it is irrelevant. I understand the system might have improved by 100%, but what did it mean for the user or the B2B company or the client that you had, right? So your resume should tailor towards the client's value and also talk about some of the processes that you have spoken about, and then apply to places so that people have an understanding that you have done the work of a Scrum Master, right? And you might be the right fit. So marketing will not play a role. It is good to have some sense of marketing and business because it gives you an overarching picture. But I think the better way to approach is that talk more about your responsibilities and talk more about how you are doing the role of a BA, what kind of documents have you written, and if you have kind of a portfolio, also share it across. Probably share that these are the kind of documents that I've written so that they understand that you have done the role of a BA or a Scrum Master, right? So that is something that is important. Yeah. Okay, so Soumendra Mishra is asking a question. I work a B2B product and product is ops heavy process. My users are internal users, so I'm not getting exposure into growth and business fronts. Feeling like this is bottleneck in my career journey. Please suggest. यार देखो, मैं तुम्हें एक लाइफ का फंडा बताता हूं. देखो, फंडा सिंपल है यार. लाइफ में अगर तुम्हें लगता है ना कि तुम्हारे ये जो मेट्रिक है, लर्निंग पर मिनट, अगर ये कम हो रहा है ना, तो अपने आप को थोड़ा टाइम दो. राइट गाइस, मेरी मतलब यू आर कंफर्टेबल आई एम टॉकिंग इन हिंदी, या शुड आई टॉक इन हिंदी, क्योंकि फील आती है यार हिंदी में। मुझे एक चीज बताओ, हिंदी में कैन समबडी गिव मी अ यस और नो इन द चैट इफ पीपल आर कंफर्टेबल इफ आई टॉक इन हिंदी? बता दो यार, दिल पे नहीं ले लो। क्या यार, जनता खुश ही नहीं है। अच्छा ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। हाँ यार, तो सोमेंद्र आई थिंक मैं हमेशा एक फंडा सिंपल लाइफ का बोलता हूँ, बहुत सिंपल है, ठीक है। अगर तुम्हारा ये जो मेट्रिक है ना, लर्निंग पर मिनट या लर्निंग पर आवर, ये तुम्हारा कम जा रहा है या तुम लाइफ में ग्रो नहीं कर रहा है, राइट, तो अपने आप को थोड़ा टाइम दो, लाइक 2-3 महीने दो, और बोलो कि मैं इसके लिए फाइट मारूंगा, कि मैं कंपनी में बात करूंगा कि यार मेरे को ग्रोथ रोल में जाना है, मुझे ये करना है। बट अगर 2-3 महीने तक ये नहीं होता, राइट, क्विटिंग इज नॉट अ बैड थिंग गाइस, इट्स नॉट अ बैड थिंग। आई डोंट नो ये हमारी साइकी में किसने डाल रखा है कि क्विटिंग इज अ बैड थिंग। क्विटिंग इज नॉट अ बैड थिंग। देखो, जहां पे लाइफ में देखिए यार, अगर लोग क्विट नहीं करते ना अपने पुराने आइडियाज, राइट, तो आज बड़ी कंपनीज नहीं होती, बहुत सारी बड़ी कंपनीज हमारे पास होती ही नहीं यार, राइट। आई गिव यू अ वेरी सिंपल एग्जांपल। The founder of Instacart is a $60 billion company, right? He did 21 startups बिफोर ही लॉन्च्ड इंस्टाकार्ट, राइट। अगर वो अपने दिल पे लगा के रखता चीजों को, तो यार कभी कर ही नहीं पाता। तो लेकिन तुम्हें ये पता होना चाहिए कि व्हाई यू आर क्विटिंग, राइट। सो यू पुट, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल पुट एफर्ट, टॉक टू योर मैनेजर, से यार आई वांट टू गो टू द ग्रोथ साइड ऑफ थिंग्स, आई थिंक इट्स एन ऑप्स हैवी मैनेज, आई एम नॉट गेटिंग एक्सपेरिमेंटेटिव स्ट्रक्चर्स, मेरे को एक्सपेरिमेंट करने को नहीं मिल रहा, मेरे को यूजर से बात करने को नहीं मिल रहा, और मुझे उस रोल में जाना है। उसको थोड़ा टाइम दो, अगर वो तुम्हें पॉजिटिव रिस्पॉन्स देता, अगर वो अच्छा मैनेजर होगा, तो जेन्युइनली सुनेगा और तुम्हें बोलेगा कि हाँ यार ठीक है, आई विल हेल्प यू। अगर तुम्हें वो जेन्युइनली हेल्प करता है और अगले 1-2 महीने में चीजें होती है, राइट, तो वेल एंड गुड। नहीं होती है, then I would recommend कि move out, try to look for another opportunity, because the only thing in this world which cannot come back is time, is time, time is the, आगे चल के क्या होने वाला है ना, time is going to become actually more expensive than money. So मैं इसीलिए बोल रहा हूं कि अपने टाइम को बर्बाद मत करो, 2-3 महीने दो। कोई भी डिसीजन, हमेशा लाइफ में कोई भी डिसीजन ले रहे हो, अगर तुम्हारे पास 70% कन्विक्शन है, उसको 2-3 महीने दो, 2-3 महीने में एक चीज नहीं होती, मूव ऑन, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बिकॉज यू हैव लिमिटेड टाइम एंड यू वांट टू ऐड वैल्यू इन लाइफ। ऑसम। ओके, देन आई वांट टू आस्क, ओके व्हाट्स द नेक्स्ट थिंग? ओके, अरे रे, ओके, ठीक है, मैं अब यहां पे चलता, ठीक है। लेट्स से द क्वेश्चन इज समथिंग फॉर अ प्रोडक्ट of which you have no idea whatsoever, and moreover you don't know what can be the, how do you deal with, for example, camera for blind person? क्यों यार, कैसी बातें कर रहे हो? मतलब कैमरा तो तुमने जिंदगी में यूज ही किया हुआ है, तो कैमरा के तुम्हारे तुम्हारे कोर वैल्यू प्रॉप्स तुम्हें पता नहीं होंगे क्या? कि कैमरा, अच्छा कैमरा का क्या मतलब होता है? जिसके अंदर तुम बेसिकली अच्छी डिस्कवरी कर सकते हो, अच्छा फोटोज खींच सकते हो, राइट, एंड देन यू हैव टू कम फ्रॉम देयर। आई थिंक मोस्ट प्रोडक्ट्स का पता होता है, बट अगर सच में कोई ऐसा क्वेश्चन आ गया जिसमें तुम्हें कोई आइडिया ही नहीं है, लाइक कोई तुमसे ये क्वेश्चन पूछता है कि तुम एक अच्छा सीट बेल्ट कैसे बनाओगे, राइट, उस केस में जनरली तो यू शुड बी अपफ्रंट विद द इंटरव्यूअर एंड से यार कि इस प्रोडक्ट के बारे में मुझे पता नहीं है, विल इट बी बेटर टू गिव मी सम आइडिया, बिकॉज कुछ कॉन्टेक्स्ट होना अच्छी बात है यार। मतलब लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स व्हेन आई टेक इंटरव्यूज, बहुत सारे बंदे मेरे पास आते हैं, मैं उनसे सवाल पूछता हूं कि यार कि तुम मैकबुक को अच्छा कैसे बनाओगे, right? A lot of people haven't used Macs. The people who typically just are upfront with me, very very honest with me in that sense कि नहीं यार, I don't have not used a MacBook. Can you ask? Can we do it for Windows? I'm very happy because at least they were honest with me, right? But जो बंदा फर्जी चीजें बोल रहा होता है कि मैक में ये कर देंगे वो कर देंगे, वो पता चल जाता है यार। देखो, लाइफ में जिस बंदे ने सच में कोई प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व की होती है, तो ही इज वेरी गुड, ही विल एक्सप्लेन द आंसर्स टू द लास्ट बिट, राइट। बट लाइफ में जो लोग जिन्होंने चीजें नहीं की होती वो कभी ना कभी अटक जाता है। सो इट्स बेटर टू बी अपफ्रंट विद द इंटरव्यूअर एंड स्ट्रेट अवे टेल कि यार मेरे को इस प्रोडक्ट के बारे में नहीं पता है, कैन यू गिव मी सम अदर प्रोडक्ट। इसीलिए मोस्ट इंटरव्यूज में क्वेश्चन आता है, टेल मी द मोस्ट पॉपुलर प्रोडक्ट दैट यू हैव यूज्ड। वो क्यों पूछते हैं? इसीलिए तो पूछते हैं क्योंकि वो बंदा बोलते हैं कि यार ये प्रोडक्ट ने यूज किया तो इसको सेंस होगा कि वो क्या कर रहा है। ऑसम, ओके, okay. PS1234 has asked again, have you how have you seen to role of a PM change over the years, and would you change something about it. I think one of the things that I would love to change about the PM role is that a lot of things we spend a lot of times on frameworks. जो फ्रेमवर्क्स जो रैंडम ज्ञान सीखने की कोशिश करते हैं कि हमें जार्गन समझ में आने चाहिए, हमें यूआई यूएक्स समझ में आना चाहिए, हमें ये सब, यार ये सब स्किल्स होते हैं यार. अगर अच्छा पीएम बनना है तो एम्पथी डेवलप करो, यूजर के पास टाइम स्पेंड करो. सो आई हैव अनफॉर्चुनेटली एज द रोल हैज इवॉल्व्ड और उसकी डिमांड बहुत बढ़ गई है, तो लोग क्या करते हैं ना, लोकल पीपल थिंक दैट दे विल डू अ सर्टेन केस स्टडी, दे विल डू अ गेस्टिमेट एंड दे विल बिकम गुड पीएम्स. ऐसा नहीं होता. You have to spend a lot of time with your end user, you have to spend a lot of effort and believe in yourself ki nahi yaar, this is something that's very very critical, right? Spend time with the user, build empathy, build compassion, right? Build curiosity, read a lot. Like, और मैं कई बार एक और चीज पीएम्स को बोलूंगा, बहुत सारे पीएम्स क्या करते हैं ना, दे स्टार्ट रीडिंग ओनली पीएम आर्टिकल्स. मैं पीएम के आर्टिकल्स पढ़ूंगा, मैं इसके ही आर्टिकल, मैं सिर्फ पीएम के वीडियोस देखूंगा. I would recommend to spend 50% of your time watching anything and everything, because PMs are very good generalists. So like अगर तुम बहुत सारा time, 50%, at least 50% of your time spend on product management, but 50% of your time read things like arts, music, movies, read about startups, right? It will make you a better thinker. It will give you perspective about horizontal problems in life. Like a lot of things that I've learned about product management have come from games, from religion, right? And that's what made me a whatever decent product manager I am. So yeah, this is something that is, so that is what I would recommend. Ki PMs should have a very high ingestion coefficient. The amount of information basically ingested per minute should increase over time. And that is what will make you a better generalist, how to talk to people, how to build better communication skills. Second thing that I would want to say is that PMs should focus a lot more on storytelling. PMs spend a lot of time on documentation and stuff, which is correct, which is completely fine. But fundamentally, PMs should spend a lot of time on storytelling also. Like, how do they communicate things to teams? How do they, and also they should develop a sense of humility that they can be wrong, right? And whenever you're talking to people, you can functionally be wrong, and also learn a lot from your software peers, from your QA peers, from marketing peers, from sales peers. So I think the three things that I would want is PMs should spend a lot of horizontal time reading about random things which interest them, like arts, music, science, mathematics, whatever it is. Second, spend a lot more time on storytelling, improving storytelling skill sets. And third, probably spend a lot more time building humility, building empathy, and staying close to the user. Yeah. Okay. Is MBA necessary for a PM role? Shubham, I have answered this question multiple times in multiple videos. It is not necessary. I'm just saying, for detailed explanation, check out any other video on the channel. Charan Kumar, I have answered this question in numerous number of times. Please check out, there are multiple videos on the channel in which you will understand that how can you start as a PM just after BTech. Yeah. Fire Games, how to build a PM story of a failed product while transition. See, it's a very interesting question. So I think Fire Games has asked this question, that how do you build a PM, a storytelling of a failed product, right? See, I think if you have truly worked on this product and you understand there was a core pain point, you can talk about what was the value prop, what did you want to do, and you can talk about, it's okay to talk about failures, because for failures come with a lot of learnings. So you talk about, even if we failed, what did I learn from a failed product? Right? That where was I wrong in the hypothesis? Was I wrong in the solution? What was the feedback from customers? Achha, then how did we scale? What are the problems that we faced? A lot of good entrepreneurs, like ex-entrepreneurs or ex-product managers who have failed, right? And you just tell that story, that what were your learnings from that story, and how you will never repeat those mistakes again in your life. See, making a mistake for the first time is a mistake. Making the mistake the second time is a choice. Right? So that is something that is extremely important. Making a mistake for the first time is a mistake. Making a mistake the second time is a choice, right? So talk a lot more about your learnings, what you will not focus, what you will not do, and what did you learn, was the hypothesis wrong, was the product wrong, what was the feedback, and what are the things that you've taken away as a PM from that journey, and speak a lot more about your learnings in your resume, and they will be very very happy. People will be very very happy to kind of learn, because if you've truly built that product now, those learnings will stay with you all your life. Yeah. Okay. MJ Charan Kumar, please don't spam, man. Sir, in case whether a feature brings great value to the customer, but from an organizer, it's not giving value, what is the approach to follow in that case, right? सी यश ऐसा होता नहीं है जनरली कि यार कि एक फीचर है अनलेस इट्स अ फ्री फीचर राइट, तो हो सकता है वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए कोई वैल्यू ऐड ना कर रहा हो, बट फ्री फीचर्स भी ऐड करते हैं वैल्यू, ऐसी बात नहीं है। लाइक समबडी इज बिल्डिंग अ ब्लॉग जहां पे फ्री इंफॉर्मेशन है, वो भी इवेंचुअली ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के रेवेन्यू के लिए ऐड करता है। हाँ, डायरेक्टली माइट ऐड नहीं करता होगा क्योंकि फ्री है, बट इन जनरल वो मोटिवेट करता है। सो आई थिंक लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स व्हाट यू शुड बी, पीएम शुड बी अ ब्रिज that saying that this free feature might not increase revenue directly but is increasing retention, right? Because you're saying it has a lot of value for the users, so it's increasing retention, and if it's increasing retention, it is eventually increasing the lt or the average revenue of the user on the platform, because as much as he's staying more on the platform, he's eventually going to do the revenue generation activity. So I think build that correlation, that how it's improving retention and how retention eventually leads to value prop for the customer. That is something that you can effectively talk about, and then that story will gel well. So you have to build some model in which you can say that even though the organization feels that it's not adding value, but you can say that it's adding value in a different dimension of metric, maybe user metrics like retention or nps or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Not sure. When is okay, Sahil. So, guys, one very interesting thing that I want to tell you: the last cohort was. I am sorry I couldn't do these lives for the last 5-6 weeks, but it was very taxing. The cohort was super amazing, right? We had like people from 7 countries. We had mentors from 3 places, and one of the best speakers from Netflix, from Google, from Instagram, from Twitter, from Chegg, from the ex-CP of Snapdeal, and it was almost 50% of the cohort already got jobs even before the cohort ended, right? So it has been half a ride. The next cohort is anyway going to start in the next 2-3 months में notification आ जाएगा, और already there is a huge wait list of 1500 plus people. I'm taking 100 people this time. That's something that I've planned across from my side. उससे कम भी हो सकता है, आई एम नॉट प्रॉमिसिंग एनीथिंग, बट मैक्सिमम विल बी 100, उससे ज्यादा नहीं होगा, और ये सिर्फ सीरियस लोगों के लिए है। देखो यार, मेरे को इसमें कोई प्राइस का कुछ नहीं चाहिए, मुझे ऐसा लगता है वैल्यू है तो यार तुम बंदे को, जब तुम इंजीनियरिंग के लिए पैसा लगाते हो, जब तुम एमबीए के लिए 30 लाख रुपए लगाते हो, तो सीखने के लिए भी तुम्हें, क्योंकि मैं जितना टाइम इन्वेस्ट करता हूं इसमें, प्लस जो मेंटोर्स प्लस द प्लेटफॉर्म, उतना टाइम कहीं नहीं होगा। तो अगर तुम जेन्युइनली सीरियस हो, जेन्युइनली तुम्हें लगता है कि नहीं मुझे एक अच्छा पीएम बनना है, मुझे मुझे खाली पीएम नहीं बनना है, मुझे एक अच्छा प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर बनना है, सक्सेसफुल प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर बनना है, तभी कोहर्ट के लिए अप्लाई करना। और कोहर्ट इज वेरी हार्ड, इट्स नॉट इजी। 2 महीने तुम्हारी लग जाएगी, लेकिन ये ऐसा होता है कि कोयला, तुम 2 महीने पहले कोयला हो, तुम बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हो, तुम्हारे पास सोने का टाइम नहीं होगा क्योंकि इतनी केस स्टडीज है, बहुत सारी चीजें करनी पड़ेंगी तुम्हें, बार बार सेशंस में आना पड़ेगा, तुम्हें हर घंटे 5 से 8 घंटे देने पड़ेंगे, हर हफ्ते 5 से 8 घंटे देने पड़ेंगे, कई बार ज्यादा भी देने पड़ेंगे क्योंकि तुम्हें असाइनमेंट्स भी करने हैं, राइट? ये सारी चीजें हो रही होंगी, लेकिन 2 महीने बाद दिस विल बी ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल फॉर यू। आई एम श्योर तुम सबने पोस्ट तो देखी होंगी लिंक्डइन पे, और भाई हमने कुछ नहीं बोला उसको, ये जेन्युइनली उनका एक्सपीरियंस है। लोगों को इतना मजा आया है, उनकी जिंदगी, इट्स अ ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन। क्योंकि मेरा फोकस तुम्हें प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट पढ़ाना नहीं है यार, मेरा फोकस तुम्हें अच्छा थिंकर बनाना है लाइफ में, राइट? तो यार तुम अगर सीरियस हो तभी आना। मैं किसी को नहीं बोलता यार, तुम्हें लगता है कि चीजें एक्सपेंसिव है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं यार, मत आओ, क्योंकि देन इट शोज नॉन सीरियसनेस। मेरे को ऐसा लगता है अगर तुम जेन्युइनली सीरियस, अगर तुम बहुत सीरियस हो तो ऐसा भी हो सकता है, ये भी मैं रिकमेंड करूंगा कि ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन फ्री भी है, अगर तुम सीरियस हो तो तुम अपना रास्ता खुद भी बना सकते हो। कोई ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि नहीं यार कि तुम्हें मेरे पास ही आना है, कोई जरूरी नहीं है उस चीज का। तुम जेन्युइनली सीरियस हो तो तुम अपना रास्ता खुद भी बना सकते हो, लेकिन कोहर्ट में आने के लिए तुम्हें बहुत बहुत सीरियस होना पड़ेगा। मतलब दिस इज अ हार्ड थिंग। मतलब मैं 2 महीने के कोहर्ट के बाद इतना थक गया था कि मैं चीजें कर नहीं पा रहा था, because I have spent 4,000 minutes. People have spent 1,20,000 minutes in the cohort, right? Guests, 8 से ज्यादा गेस्ट थे, और जो बेस्ट कंपनीज अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड है। तो यार मतलब इट्स अ हार्ड थिंग। आना है तो शिद्दत से आना, आज ही बता दे रहा हूं। शिद्दत से नहीं आओगे तो तुम्हारे लिए भी वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम है, मेरे लिए भी वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम है। तुम्हें लगता है कि तुम फ्री में अच्छी वैल्यू फ्री में मेरे से खुद कर सकते हो, शिद्दत खुशी से करो, आई विल बी ग्लैड टू हेल्प। लेकिन जो लोग आएंगे कोहर्ट में, उनके लिए मैं बहुत सीरियस हूं, बहुत डेड सीरियस। मुझे तुम्हारे पैसे से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, मुझे तुम्हारे आउटकम से लेना देना है। पैसा मेरे लिए बाय प्रोडक्ट है, अच्छा काम कर रहा हूं, अपने आप कमाऊंगा, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। ऑसम, ठीक है। ओके, द नेक्स्ट थिंग दैट आई सी इज, ओके, I'm doing a PM internship and from a tier 3 college. Please tell me which companies to focus for full-time APM role. I'm in final year. Piyush yaar, I think you should start focusing on Series A, Series B, Series C funded startups. I think मैं हमेशा recommend करता हूँ कि तुम्हें अगर तुम PM internship कर रहे हो तो तुम्हें हमें growth stage startups में जाना चाहिए. तो I think Series A funded startups should be very well. But एक काम करना, उनके reviews अच्छे पढ़ लेना और हमेशा जब भी किसी कंपनी को अप्लाई करते हो ना, किसी भी कंपनी के लिए अप्लाई करते हो, प्रोडक्ट तो एक बात होती है, उनकी उधर लोगों से भी बात करनी चाहिए. रीच आउट टू पीपल. आई नो 10 में से 9 लोग शायद रिस्पॉन्ड ना करें, लेकिन जो एक बंदा करेगा वो तुम्हें ऑनेस्ट ओपिनियन देगा. कल्चर इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अ पीएम टू लर्न. So I think good companies, a Cred can be there can be Practo can be there can be Razorpay, there is a lot of Flipkart is hiring for APM profiles. बहुत सारी companies है, then Eruditus है, Emeritus है, Baiju है, मतलब there are innumerous number of companies where you can start applying to. SaaS कंपनीज है बहुत सारी, लॉजिकली है, बहुत सारी कंपनीज है, मतलब देन देयर इज यूकैनजी इज देयर, एड्यूरेका इज देयर, एमफाइन इज देयर. बहुत सारी कंपनीज है जो कि पीएम रोल्स के लिए हायर कर रही है. तुम कहीं पे भी अप्लाई कर सकते हो. इट्स गोइंग टू बी वेरी वैल्यूएबल. सो जस्ट डू दैट. या awesome. Okay. Hi Shravan, do you think if yes, Sprinkler is a good company. So Aranyak, dude तुम्हारा नाम बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है. बट एनीवेज, तो ए त्रिपाठी ने ये पूछा है, श्रवण, डू यू नो अबाउट स्प्रिंकलर फर्म? इफ यस, हाउ इज इट गुड फॉर प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट करियर? इट इज, Sprinkler is a good firm, man. As much as I've heard from outside, I don't know personally people there, but as much as I have known, it's a good firm. It's a business heavy firm, but मैंने सुना है कि यहाँ पे बिजनेस तो तुम अच्छा सीखो, और प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट में बिजनेस आना भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. या ओके, देन okay, I see. Ayushi is asking, what are the some of the must-do things before an APM interview? Let's say if this is scheduled in the next 10 days. One, first thing, read entirely about the company. Read any article from fundraisers, from what they are building, from what their core metrics are. Read your story articles, read their founder articles, so that you have a sense of the philosophy, how the founders think about the product. Second, read as much about the interviewer. Look at his journey completely. What's the journey? कौन बंदा है, उसने पहले किस पे काम किया है? And it is always, an interviewer's profile gives you a lot of information about what you will expect in the questions. Like if you go into my profile, you will see I've spent a lot of time on machine learning. I've spent a lot of time on consumer products, building products for kids. So I'm a design oriented guy. So you might expect a design oriented problem. Or I've led business for Edureka. So I can expect a business problem from me. Like how do you grow the business from 1 million to 2 million in 6 months, right? So study the company very well. Read all about the competitors. If possible, actually run their product, use their product. In B2C companies, you can actually use their product. Like Grow के साथ interview है, तो Grow का product actually use कर सकते हो. And also create some structure in your mind ki what are the gaps that they have not solved for, so that you can speak about them in the interview, right? Also look at the interviewer's profile, understand what he has worked on, and do a lot of product sense problems, like ambiguous problems generally related to that space. Let's assume you're interviewing for a fintech firm. So do a problem primarily focused on ki how do you improve the transaction percentage of Google Pay, right? How do you increase the, so do lot of product sense problems, do some guesstimates also. But two things for sure: do company research, read everything about the company, the founder articles, the fundraisers articles, everything. And second, do interviewer research, look at his journey, try to understand what he has done, look at his journey and understand that is he a design focused guy, is he a tech guy? Like PMs who are software engineer turned PMs, they typically ask you more questions on the line of building structures, building systems, right? But somebody who's a design focused guy, he might ask you a very ambiguous design centric problem, right? So you can do that. And third thing is do a lot more product sense problems in that domain. And then simultaneously, fourth thing is do a little bit of guesstimates. I think this should cover it up. And finally, take a chill pill. शिद्दत से उस बंदे की बात सुनो, ठंडे दिमाग से आंसर करो, you will get through the role. Yeah. Okay. What are the people specific challenges you address on a daily basis, like team management? Okay. So I think the next question is asked by Abhijit. What are the people specific? Yeah, I think यार जो सबसे critical चीज है एक PM की journey में is that कि पीपल स्पेसिफिक चैलेंजेस जनरली कहां पे आते हैं ना, कम्युनिकेशन में आते हैं. लाइक इफ यू आर स्पेंडिंग अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम विद योर इंजीनियरिंग टीम explaining them that functionally that why you want to build a certain thing, right? That really is important. Like lot of time PMs do a very poor job. They explain a lot of times on this is the feature what we want to build, ye button hona chahiye, ye hona chahiye, ye hona chahiye, but they do a very poor job in explaining why should we do this, right? That has to come out very very clearly, and PMs should be very empathetic यार. मतलब अगर उनका dev बंदा अच्छी बात नहीं कर रहा, मतलब बोल रहा है कि ये डिफिकल्ट है, तो पीएम को बैठना चाहिए और समझना चाहिए, एंड शुड गो बैक एंड वर्क ऑन द फीडबैक गिवन बाय द डेव, right? So that is one challenge. The second challenge is how do you build the right case to present it to the management. तो कई बार क्या होता है कि यार अगर मुझे लोगों के सामने उनको समझाना है कि यार कि ये फीचर क्यों बनाना है, तो यू हैव टू आल्सो टेक इनटू अकाउंट डू यू हैव अ सेंस ऑफ व्हाट पीपल वांट टू हियर, राइट? लाइक अगर मैं बाइजू के पास जाके उनको टेक फीचर्स की चीजें बताने लग गया तो बाइजू को फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बट उसके लिए मुझे लार्जर विजन दिखाना पड़ेगा. तो लोगों को इसका भी पता नहीं चलता कि किस किस ऑडियंस से मुझे क्या बात करनी है. बाइजू के लिए मैं वो बात करूंगा, बट प्रोबेबली टू माय बॉस आई विल इवन टॉक अबाउट पीआरडीज एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट. सो आई थिंक two things: one, that people should take a lot of ownership. Building ownership in people is very difficult. Second, building empathy for people is very difficult. Third, focusing a lot more, being a lot more loyal to the problem space and being very core to the problem is very difficult, but which is hard. And fourth, what information to present to what stakeholders is also something that is difficult, that you should learn as a PM. Yeah. Okay. So guys, I'll take the last two questions. I think we are over 60 minutes already. Yeah. Would you recommend joining bit class into PM role? Consider this is not core product right now. यार बहुत ही एम्बिग्यूअस क्वेश्चन है. मैं ये नहीं जानता बिट क्लास का प्रोडक्ट कैसा काम करता है, बट मैं इतना डेफिनेटली बोलूंगा, देखो कल्चर देखो, उनका विजन देखो, वो कैसे सॉल्व कर रहे हैं प्रॉब्लम को, उसको देखो, और सेंस रखो कि यार कि क्या उनके पास पैसा है, क्या डू दे हैव इनफ रनवे टू एक्सपेरिमेंट, एंड देन थिंक अबाउट इट. प्रोबेबली द बेस्ट डिसीजंस ऑफ गेटिंग इनटू अ कंपनी also depends on who you are talking to, and if your manager is very open about what's the strategy of the company, how do they hire PMs, what are they hiring PMs for, then you make a choice. Joining a company is not a choice of compensation, it's a choice of which team you are joining. Lot of times I keep saying this, you're not joining a company, you're joining a team. If you join Amazon with the wrong team, you're screwed. If you join Amazon with the right team, you might have the best experience of your life. Yeah. Awesome, Samarth. Thank you. Hi, Shravan. I am applying for a PM profile. Ashwini, the answer is given in a lot of guys. जो लोग पहले भी लाइव अटेंड कर चुके हैं ना, और जो पहली बार आ रहे हैं, प्लीज एक बार वीडियोस देख लो यार. there is a wealth of information there. यहाँ पे मैं वही आंसर करूंगा जो मुझे लगता है कि मैंने आंसर नहीं किया है, राइट? GDB, working as a SAP technical lead. Again, this is answered. There is actually a video on how anybody wants to transition into PM role from a non-technical role. Probably मैं एक live session ही कर दूंगा for everyone to understand how to transition into product management from a non-product management role. If everybody wants that video or live done, the next live can be on that. Give me a yes or no. Awesome. I will do a live on how to transition into a PM role from a non PM role, right? मैं इस पे एक लाइव कर सकता हूं, मैं कर दूंगा, लेकिन ये मैंने कवर किया हुआ है. I have already covered this in a lot of videos. Please go through the videos. बहुत सारे आंसर्स तुम्हारे ऑलरेडी दिए हुए हैं, जाके पढ़ो तो सेंस आएगा. ठीक है? ओके. ओके, ठीक है. Satish, your question is answered in a lot of videos. Please, Satish has asked any tips to improve structural thinking and getting better at articulation of thoughts. Lot of videos are there on the channel. Go and check it out. There is one video on basically how to crack product management interviews, part 1, part 2. You can check it out. काफी चीजें वहां पे already दी हुई है. ठीक है? ठीक है. Then thank you for addresses all the concerns. Can you please give an overview for a salary of a PM from an APM role to senior positions? Got it. यार देखो, generally Adarsh, तो Adarsh is asking what is the salary range of PMs. See, again, ये मेरा opinion है, 100% true नहीं हो सकता. पहले ही कॉलिंग इट आउट, बट स्टिल एक सेंस है क्योंकि मैं इस फील्ड में रहा हूं. देखो, एपीएम्स कैन गेट पेड एनीवेयर फ्रॉम 12 lakhs to 20 lakhs डिपेंडिंग ऑन कंपनी टू कंपनी. ठीक है. पीएम्स कैन गेट पेड फ्रॉम एनीवेयर फ्रॉम 15 lakhs to 25 lakhs. इट्स अ लार्ज रेंज. उतना भी होता, उससे ज्यादा भी होता है, मैं एवरेज बता रहा हूं. एसपीएम्स कैन गेट रेंज, सीनियर पीएम्स गेट पेड समवेयर ऑफ 30 to 35 lakhs इन दैट रेंज. देन आ गया, अगर उसके बाद आ गया, उसके बाद सीनियर पीएम 2 भी होता है या प्रिंसिपल पीएम भी होता है. दे गेट पेड समवेयर अराउंड 55, 60, 65, उस रेंज में भी होता है. देन डायरेक्टर ऑफ प्रोडक्ट में भी 80, 85. एंड देन वंस यू आर ऑलमोस्ट एट अ वीपी काइंड ऑफ अ पोजीशन, यू गेट पेड 1.5 सीआर, 2 सीआर ऑल्सो. उस रेंज में होती है चीजें. बट अगेन, ये कोई स्टैंडर्ड नहीं है. इट कैन वेरी. प्लीज टेक इट विद अ पिंच ऑफ सॉल्ट. मैं पहले ही बता रहा हूं. ठीक है. थैंक यू हर्षित, थैंक्स अ लॉट. सो यार, हर्षित अगेन, यार तुम लोग देखो, कभी भी पीएम ऑफर चूज करना होता है ना, डोंट थिंक अबाउट जस्ट द प्रॉब्लम, ऑल्सो थिंक अबाउट द पीपल देयर. जहां पे तुम्हें ज्यादा मजा आया ना, जहां तुम्हें लगता है कि तुम्हारा मैनेजर ज्यादा अच्छा है, जो तुम्हें ज्यादा फॉस्टर करता है, जो तुम्हें ओपनली तुमसे बात कर रहा है, ही इज आंसर एड्रेसिंग ऑल योर कंसर्न्स, राइट. लाइक मैं हमेशा रिकमेंड करता हूं, जब भी तुम्हें ऑफर मिलते हैं ना, हमेशा अपने मैनेजर के साथ एक वन ऑन वन हमेशा अरेंज किया करो. एचआर को बोलो कि मेरे को अपने मैनेजर के साथ 30-40 मिनट बिताने, और उससे ओपनली क्वेश्चन पूछो कि आप पीएम्स क्यों हायर कर रहे हो, आपका विजन क्या है, आप लोग कैसे हायर करते हो, आपका कल्चर क्या है, आप डिसीजंस कैसे लेते हो. अगर वो अच्छी कंपनी होगी, ही विल बी वेरी ओपन अबाउट इट. एंड सो ऑलवेज चूज सिनर्जी ऑफ पीपल. तो हर्षित, अगर तेरे को जेन्युइनली कहां, जहां पे तेरा दिल लग रहा है ना, जहां तुझे लगता है कि मैं सीखूंगा ज्यादा, जहां मुझे लगता है मेरी मैनेजर ज्यादा बनती है, ज्यादा कंफर्टेबल हूं मैं, जहां टीम ज्यादा अच्छी है, उसको ज्वाइन कर. चाहे वहां पे 2 लाख रुपए कम मिल रहे हो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. ठीक है. क्योंकि ट्रस्ट मी, द कंपाउंडिंग ऑफ लर्निंग इन लाइफ इज वे मोर देन द कंपाउंडिंग ऑफ मनी इन लाइफ. ठीक है. ऑसम. ऑसम. ओके गाइस, आई थिंक वी आर डन फॉर टुडे. एक रिक्वेस्ट है, द कोहर्ट इज गोइंग टू स्टार्ट इन द नेक्स्ट 2-3 वीक्स. आपको जाना है एयर ट्राइब के प्लेटफॉर्म पे, आप चेक कर सकते हो. आई विल शेयर इट विद यू गाइस अगेन. आप देख लीजिए. सो दिस इज द कोहर्ट specifically, right? You can check it out. Also, a lot of your questions are already on the channel. Please like the video as much as possible. Please share and subscribe. Share with all of you folks. मैं शायद कुछ बहुत interesting videos लेके आऊंगा. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you very much. I will try to answer as many questions as possible. Thanks for taking out the time. Lots of love, and please, 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 please like the video. Thanks a lot. Once again, bye bye.